Today we are looking at the parallels between Mark's portrayal of the baptism of Jesus and Jesus' transfiguration. In both stories, the heavens open up and God proclaims, "This is my Son."
We are one.
In the baptism story, "This is my Son with whom I'm well pleased." In the transfiguration, "This is my Son, listen to him." Both stories are establishing Jesus' identity as the Son of God and Jesus' authority. The baptism takes place right before Jesus began his ministry. The transfiguration takes place shortly before his passion narrative. There were witnesses at both of them. Both of them established the Trinity. You have the dove coming down. You have the rays of light. You have God the Father talking. You have Jesus the Son.
Trinity.
Our baptism celebrates us being initiated into the community of God. We are all now children of God. We are all now sons and daughters of God. But for Jesus, it was a little bit more literal. He literally is the Son of God. The transfiguration reveals for us the divinity of Christ. That radiating, that bleach white. It gives us a glimpse of his divinity.
For life's bleachable moments.
Both stories establish Jesus' identity and authority, but the transfiguration goes kind of up and beyond. That's why we call it the transfiguration. Jesus' figure transforms. He becomes more.
Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Present on the mountain is Moses and Elijah alongside Jesus. Both of these are significant characters from the Hebrew Scriptures. Moses represents the law.
The law.
And Elijah represents the Word of God, the prophets. And Jesus is in the same league as those men. Jesus is now the new law. Jesus is the new Word. And this is a really interesting story because, as we established, Mark's audience are Gentiles. They weren't probably aware of who Moses and Elijah even are. But this story is actually quite consistent among the three synoptic Gospels. Moses and Elijah are kind of like Jesus' letters of recommendation. When you're applying for college, you really want to get top-notch people to write you letters of recommendation. That helps establish your credibility. That establishes your authority. To have Moses, the hero of the Old Testament, and Elijah, the most significant prophet of the Old Testament, endorsing Jesus practically really does show, particularly a Jewish audience, that Jesus is in the same league. That Jesus' words are worth listening to. Furthermore, Elijah in particular is of great significance because the prophecy of the Old Testament said that Elijah was going to return and team up with the Messiah in bringing in a new era of salvation. This is that conversation that Peter has with Jesus on the return down the mountain. They asked Jesus about the scribes and what does it say about Elijah? And Jesus established Elijah was here. I mean, dude, didn't you just see him? He was like up on the mountain with me just now. You offered to build him a tent. Jews believe that Elijah is going to return with the Messiah and bring in this new kingdom of heaven on earth. Scriptures say that Elijah never died. He's one of two people up in heaven with a body. Instead of dying, he was taken away on a flaming chariot. It's possible they took that chariot on the ride back down to visit Jesus and Moses cried, "Shotgun!" So the very fact that Elijah is present to a Jewish audience, that's proof. This must be it. This is the end of time. This is the kingdom of heaven here on earth. Jesus must clearly be the Messiah. So really, the transfiguration scene is about identity and authority.